everybody. It is Sunday. I toast all of you. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Hope everybody is doing well today. We've got an amazing show in store for you. Lots of fabulous music coming to you live from New York City with extraordinary and acclaimed violinist Marissa Licata. She's all poised and ready to go. She's been tuning things up in the city, and we're going to tune things up here on the show with great inspirational conversation, or inspiring conversation, as we always like to say. We always have a good time on the show, which I think is awesome. You guys are truly amazing. Thanks for all the comments and all of the tweeting and all the Instagram messages, all those amazing Facebook posts you're doing, sharing the links, telling everybody about our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. We're doing an early special time today for our show, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, to welcome Marissa to the show. She has played with Jethro Tull and Alicia Keys and Steven Tyler and so many other incredible greats. She's a great herself, a multi-talented performer, and we're going to welcome her in just a second. It's so cool to have all of you here. Welcome. Hope your weekend is going well. Of course, prayers to everybody in the southern part of the United States, in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. That Category 4, 150-mile-an-hour Hurricane Ida is at their doorstep right now. We are doing this show live, as we do our shows live. So if you're watching this 6 months from now, this is old news. But for those watching live, prayers to everybody that is in the southern part of the United States right now, in the Louisiana area. But welcome to the show. This is a show that brings a lot of light, love, levity, and our famous levity to bear on the air. That's what we love to do. We've done 465 episodes of our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. This is, I believe, episode 466 now, live just about 7 days a week, with that inspiring conversation we always talk about, poignant moments, funny moments, entertainment galore from guests who pop in and stop by JMS Live from Broadway and Hollywood, television, film, music, science, nature, health, wellness, culinary arts, sports, comedy. It's amazing how I remember all that, right? I'm not reading a script. All the different categories, authors, inspirational people. And as you guys know, this is an extension of my professional work here in the United States in television and radio, on the air and on camera and behind the scenes. So we toast you guys. We've got our kind, generous, supportive you mug. This came from one of our lovely viewers, Karen Campbell Green, in Nova Scotia, Canada. We've got, like yesterday, we have a little cold brew in here, coffee, because I'm always known for heating up coffee and making coffee and then putting the cup down. And then when I put the cup down, it becomes iced coffee. So this time we're ahead of the game. We have pretty much iced coffee to begin with. We toast all of you. How's everybody doing today on a Sunday? Nice to see all of your smiley faces from all around the world. Let's get this thing underway. We are going to welcome our guest in just a second. First, we, of course, always welcome you guys in style. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. Hello, Lovity Squad. The viewers call themselves the Lovities here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We love that. I think that's really cool. It makes the show unique, extra special. The interaction, the rapport that we have, I think is really fantastic. So hello to all the Lovities. You're watching the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We would love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be cool. And while you're subscribing to the Jim Masters TV YouTube channel, where we house all of these episodes of JMS Live, make sure that you click that notification bell, so that way there you never miss any of our incredible episodes that are live, and also our on-location shows and our surprise pop-up shows. Sometimes we do a pop-up show where we just chat with you guys, host and lovely viewers, back and forth about life, about a whole host of cool things. And so if you subscribe to the channel, we would love it. And also click the notification bell so you never miss any of the action here on our show. This is a busy weekend. We did 2 shows yesterday. We had Emmy-nominated actor Scott Bryce on, you know, from As the World Turns and Murphy Brown and Deception and so much more. And then we had extraordinary singer and actress, the incredible Connie Jackson. She was on live from Los Angeles last night. And now this afternoon, we have Marissa Licata joining us. Share the lovity, spread the word about the show. If you enjoy this episode, of course, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And we really thank you for that. Many of you have been doing that. You've been leaving the thumbs up likes, and you have been leaving nice comments on these episodes. You know what's really cool about that? When you do that, YouTube sees that and they take the episode and then they blast it out to the world. That's right. They see the engagement, the activity when you leave those comments. So if you're enjoying yourself and you love all this work we're doing with these episodes and you're touched by them, motivated, entertained by whatever it is we're doing here for you on our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, boy, we thank you for that. And let us know with a comment on the YouTube channel, and of course, give it a thumbs up. Also, enjoy during the live chat, during the live shows. There's something newer that a lot of you have been taking advantage of: super chat, super stickers, super emojis, super thanks. That's something that you can do when the show is live and you're able to comment. And when you comment, if you do it as a super chat, super sticker type thing, which several of you have done, we appreciate that. It helps support the series. Your comment is highlighted in a special color. It rises to the surface, and then we personally thank you on the show. I do that, and I'm very happy to do that for you guys going the extra mile and doing that super chat, super stickers that's available during the live chat when you leave your comments, like right now. So again, we welcome Marissa to the show in just a second. First, let's check in with some of our lovely viewers. Jen Barry is here. Jen, are you still in the tent? You're camping in the tent in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Jen and Ken. Are you out of the tent, or are you are you still bundled up in your tent? Hi, Jim and Lovedies and guest Marissa, who is now a Lovedy. Oh, just so you know, I told Marissa Licata all about Lovedy, and she says, "Oh, I know all about it. I heard all about it, Jim, and I love it. I think it's fantastic." So she says, "Bring on the Lovedy." Again, she's going to perform live. She has her beautiful violin with her. And she was doing a little sound check seconds ago with us, and she's raring to go. Sherry Larson is too, raring to go. Hello, Lovedies. She is in Kansas. Juanita is in South Africa. Hello, Jim and Lovedy squad. Good to see you as well, Juanita. Merlin in Ontario, Canada. These are our die-hard Lovedies. We have lots of people that watch who are watching right now who don't comment, which is perfectly fine, during our live show, commenting in chat. We would love it if you comment later in the archives on a YouTube channel, but a lot of people just like to kick back and watch our series, watch our episodes. These are the die-hard Lovedies who we love. They're here like all the time. They move heaven and earth to be with us when we're live, which is just about all the time, like Merlin in Canada and Mary Bishop in Florida. Hello, Jim and Lovedy friends. Good to see you there in Florida. And Merlin is welcoming Marissa. She says, "You are now a Lovedy." Anais is here watching from Paris, France once again. I know you love when we do the episodes in the afternoon. Generally, our show is live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, but we're doing a special early episode this Sunday afternoon to be with all of you. And you were tent camping. Now you're back home in Allentown. That is fantastic. Dawn is here. Good to see you, Dawn. And Alessandra is here. I'm watching on my phone while I'm watching my grandkid. She's watching too. Hello to your grandchild. What is your grandchild's name? They'd probably love to hear that. You're in North Carolina. Christine Clifton is here for a Sunday afternoon of music and inspiring conversation and more. Greetings, Jim and Lovedy friends. Welcome, Marissa, to the show today. Let the Lovedy begin. Absolutely, Christine, there in North Carolina. And I love it. And Merlin is also toasting with iced coffee. Cheers. Love that in Ontario. And all is good here in North Carolina. Love it, love it, love it. And love the early special time, especially as it's Monday morning tomorrow for you guys. That's cool. And thank you very much watching there in beautiful France. Welcome, Anais. Good afternoon, Jim from Sherry. Thank you. Hello, Lovedies. Hearts from Anais there in France. We have an international audience. People watch from all around the world, and I think that is really, really special and really, really cool. So welcome, everybody. Nice to have everybody here. You're all welcoming each other as well, and we'll check in more with some of the lovely comments and everything else. Keep posting away. Keep having a good time with your comments. We love that. We appreciate all the interactivity and all of the special ways that you guys greet each other and you greet us. Cool stuff. So, yeah, I think it's time to get this show on the road here. We are very excited to welcome our very special guest, Marissa Licata. She is extraordinary. If you have seen her perform, she's New York and Boston based. Right now, she is in New York. Honduran American violinist, Marissa is a star powerhouse soloist. Her electrifying passion and her vibrant presence have been featured on world-renowned stages across 4 continents. With over 15 years of classical violin training and her bachelor's and master's degrees from the New England Conservatory of Music, Marissa proved her natural versatility on her very first audition for Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull, winning the lead violin position on his 2006 U.S. tour. She would go on to join Jethro Tull for 5 more international tours, which is really something extra special and so rare and well earned. She quickly became high in demand, both as a featured soloist and a recording artist as well, which I think is really cool. She's just so amazing at what she does, and she likes to have a good time too with the audiences. In the years from 2006 to present, she's collaborated and performed on national and international tours with Alicia Keys, Jethro Tull, Wyclef Jean, also James Montgomery, Mario Frangoulis. Mario, of course, we did an episode with Mario here on our show, live from Greece. I've interviewed him multiple times on PBS. He's also a dear friend. She's worked with Mario, also Ben Harper, Ringo Starr, Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics, Gloria Estefan, just to name the few. She's been on the Latin Grammys, The View, Good Morning America, Live from the Artist's Den, which of course is on PBS, and so much more. In 2018, she joined the American Repertory Theater as a violinist and concert mistress for the Alanis Morissette musical, Jagged Little Pill. Really incredible stuff. She's also been involved with the Radio City Music Hall's Christmas Spectacular with the Rockettes. And she also appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live and the BET Awards and so much more. Again, she is somebody who really dazzles on stage. She has an on-camera presence that mesmerizes audience as well. And she draws on world music influences from Eastern Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and her unique gypsy fusion highlights universally familiar melodies with contagious rhythmic energy. Wow. Really cool stuff, right, gang? Right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Let's welcome Marissa live from New York City to join us here for some of our famous levity. Marissa, welcome to the show. It's good to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Wow, that bio sounds good, and I'm only 18.
I was going to say, yes, your mother wrote it, sent it to me, and we approved it. And I tell you,
and she paid you that check. You got the money, right?
We got the check.
Sound really impressive. Add a few extra names in there.
We got the check, and we also got the homemade chocolate chip cookies too, and that's what really matters.
That wasn't my mother, but maybe someone else's mother did.
Oh, wait, that's my mother. Hey, I want to show you, as we always like to do, some of our viewer levity. I was telling you about the levity that happens here on the show, which is kind of cool. Juanita in South Africa says, welcome to the show, Marissa. I love that. And Mary Bishop in Florida says, hello, Marissa, and welcome. Sherry Larson in Kansas, USA. Welcome, Marissa. We love that. It's nice when you start a Sunday with all these welcomes, isn't it?
It is. I thank you. And I thank you to everyone and the Levity Squad for having me and welcoming me. So on this Sunday.
On this Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday too. How have you been? You know, obviously, what I was just describing there is really just the short list of your epic career, and you've worked very hard for it all. But in the last year or so, the world, has flipped upside down in certain ways. So performing and being amongst fans and on stages and studios and concert halls has been sort of not necessarily happening. How have you been, and how have you been dealing with everything and getting through? And as they always say, staying creative, connected, collaborative, and sane through it all. And when I ask the sane part, that's when everybody says, Jim, I'm not there yet. I'm still working on the sane part.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it pretty much it stopped in a matter of a day. My life as I knew it, and working career as I knew it, stopped in one day. One
Yeah.
day, I was preparing for this show actually coming up, my Birdland debut.
Birdland, yeah.
And then that weekend happened. I was inviting friends, guests, putting it all out on social, and then the weekend happened, and everything was shut down on the 15th. That was of March, obviously 2020, and just so happens that my show was on the 16th of March, 2020. So I mean, and of course, not that I would have wanted to. I mean, you wouldn't want to have a show like that where there's such a danger to people's health
No.
and just to everything, and so much unknown. But so it stopped, and we all thought, a few weeks, maybe a few months. We weren't sure what to do, but a year and a half, and I can tell you that. A year and a half, and I did not perform. There was no performing. There was no collaboration with anybody. There was very little face-to-face interaction. I would go shopping. I spent the pandemic in New Jersey, actually, where I grew up, at my mother's, and she and I were roommates for a year, for over a year, and we had our routine. We disinfect everything.
Yeah.
I would go to the store and do the shopping, and we would come back and spend hours disinfecting all the food, all the bottoms of our shoes, mail, everything. And that was how we just did it. And, we adapted because we had to. And the sane part, I practiced a lot. Which didn't really necessarily help with being sane, but what it did do is allowed me to be able to, luckily, use what I do, what I love, what I've always done and loved, to get through it, to acclimate to and adjust to a new life as best you could. Yes, live performances were taken out. Yes, there was a lot of things that were canceled, and we didn't know when that would be back. But it didn't take away my music and my ability to practice, to progress. And so I'm very thankful that I have that ability, because some people didn't, and some people got very sick, and many people died. And so it was threw a wrench into everything, but you just keep working, and here we are now. And we can say that we can do this again. So just remained patient, a test in patience for sure.
Yes, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. What were there some teachable moments? Were there some things you learned about yourself along the way? A lot of people have been saying with this great pause, this downtime, they've been sort of reassessing who they are, what they want to do, their relationships, their careers. They've had time to breathe. I know I've chatted with a lot of performers on this series who have said, this has been very, very tough. I'm not out there amongst the people. I'm not doing, but on the flip side, I've been able to breathe and recalibrate. Normally I'm always out on tour and pounding away in the studios and and now I've had a little time to sort of just be me, spend time with me, and catch up on life and breathe a little bit. Have you had those moments in that time as well?
Certainly. Absolutely. I mean, even with my playing, first of all, I did a laundry list of very productive things that are boring, but I was able to do them, and I stopped making the excuse like, oh, I don't have the time. Couldn't make that excuse anymore. So, for example, I went out and got my driver's license, and which I've never had before. Terrified, absolutely terrified, but and there are little things, but there are things that I wouldn't have otherwise done. I probably, or certainly wouldn't have been pushed to do it. So I did push myself to do a lot, and to not look back on this time thinking that we just lost the time. You know, there was
Right.
plenty to do in it. And I did a lot. I worked out like crazy. I mean, I was always an active, fit person, but I worked out like crazy because I could do that safely in the house. I learned how to play viola, and
You did?
yeah,
Wow.
and now I'm getting more work because of that. Now I can be hired on viola as well. Tons of things that, and you know, I also look at it as lucky. I got to spend a year with my mother, and watch Paul Newman movies and go goo goo and gaga over him, and
Yeah.
just, you know, just have a lot of fun. We wouldn't have gotten that time because,
Right.
yeah, I'm on tour, I'm too busy. Oh, well, yeah, I'll catch you to, yeah, okay, Christmas. Oh man, but it's so busy, you know.
Yeah.
And I got to spend that time with my mother, which is very special to me. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we were always close. It's just there's never enough time in the day. So there was enough time in the day over this past year and a half. So um,
Yes. Did you clean a lot of closets and bake bread?
uh, bread baking, no, but cleaning closets, yes. Disinfecting a lot. things are clean
Things are super clean at the
over at the
Licatas.
Licata home. The Licata ladies have cleaned to perfection. And yeah, spent just a lot of time hanging out. You know, we had our routine, and it was fun. We learned how
Yeah.
to use a crisper really well because
Wow.
we're not really into the cooking. We don't really
Right.
cook.
Right.
So we learned how to use the crisper, and so we you know, we amused ourselves.
That's it. See, there's always teachable moments, even during the most crazy of times, right?
Yeah, and a huge lesson in patience.
Yes.
Patience.
Yeah. Would you
And
say that you're generally a patient person?
yes, but I don't think that people perceive me as that, but they're massively mistaken. I'm a very patient person.
It's
Um,
more passion, probably,
yeah,
right?
and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not necessarily happy about being patient. I'm not all like, you know, like necessarily like
Kumbaya.
miss like cheery about it, but I'm extremely patient. I will wait until whenever I have to wait to accomplish what my goals are. And man, I got a big lesson in that, and I'm
Yeah.
thankful for that because I know I have it too. You know,
Right.
not
Right.
only did I prove to myself like I can do this, I can be patient, I can really progress, I can adapt, but man, I got it. I have
Yeah.
it. And
And
it builds your confidence. So you know,
yes.
where I didn't have maybe the audience, oh, you're great, we love your music. I didn't have that. I had to generate that myself. I had to really, you know, be critical, be patient with myself in that it's not always gonna sound how you want it to sound. And you're not going to, unfortunately, for a while, you're not going to get it from other people. So
Right.
find a way to like what you're hearing, find a way to like what you see, find a way and work toward that. So that's what you do.
Right, exactly. How did you get started? What was it about? And again, congratulations on learning that other string instrument and
Yes,
including that in
viola.
your life.
Yeah.
How is it different from the violin for you? How would you describe I took violin when I was a kid in school, but I never attempted the viola. How would you say it differs for you as somebody who's so skilled in the violin?
It's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bigger. It's physically a heavier instrument. It's which obviously it's bigger tone, everything. But physically, I was surprised that it was as different. You know, because essentially you play it like a big violin. The playing of it isn't all that different. But yeah, the physicality of it surprised me. And then, of course, the clef. So the playing of it is like speaking a language, then trying to read that language is a totally different, foreign language is a different story. So that definitely took some time. And again, staying really patient, like flashcards, like a first grader. And I made little flashcards for myself, and it's like, all right, what's that note? What's this note? You know, and I just started at the beginning because I had the time. So
that's it. I
yeah.
tell you. So how did you get started? What, early on for you as a kid, what was it about the violin that really spoke to you? Because obviously there's a lot of different instruments out there and a lot of different choices. And what was it about music and specifically the violin that, that first introduction, that inspiration for you, Marissa?
Yeah. Well, actually, my father started me playing violin, and which in itself is sort of a little strange, just because he himself is a jazz saxophone player, and he was in a completely different realm, completely different kind of world, certainly from classical string playing. But he said, I want to start her on an instrument. And it happened to be violin. He has told me, because you can start playing violin at 3. And so he started me at 3. I started playing violin at 3. And I do think that it was a lucky kind of choice. There was nothing, I didn't say, oh, I want to play violin right now. I was just too young, but I think it was the perfect fit. It was the perfect choice. And because if it hadn't been, I would have moved on to a different instrument,
Right.
or a different career, and that I truly do believe as well, that there's no way to, even something as amazing as music, if it's just not for you, it's not like you're going to be able to force yourself and spend a life forcing yourself doing something that you're that you're not really happy doing. And so and it's also not going to be the job that's going to make you all the money. So let's do it because it makes us all this money.
We're exactly right. So, yeah. Especially not starting out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my father started me when I was 3 at New England Conservatory. I was in the prep division with the little kids, little group classes. And that was the instrument that I was naturally just really, I understood how I had good concentration. I understood how to stand, how to, what our basic goals were. And again, group lessons. And then I moved on to private lessons at maybe about 6 or 7. And then kind of everything went from there, just kept progressing. I was in different orchestras, youth orchestras. And so that's when my classical training started, was at 3.
Wow.
And went through most of college.
Yeah, that's really incredible. You've always stayed with it because, a lot of people, especially at those early ages, when they start with an instrument like the violin, because it's not the easiest one to master, they do it, they have the thrill of it, and then they put it down and they don't pick it up again. For you, you stuck with it. What was it about it that really spoke to you to stay with it and keep grinding and keep perfecting and learning about it and incorporating these various styles and musical influences into your work?
I had an idea of a sound that I loved. And it wasn't particularly necessarily an instrument sound, like a particular instrument. It was a sound that actually I probably first heard from John Coltrane. My father would play all the jazz, all the saxophone players, and he one day I heard John Coltrane play, and the fatness of his sound, the like roundness of it, and I was like, oh, I want that. I want that. And I knew I could get that. I knew, and again, it wasn't an instrument, an actual instrument thing. It was, I want that fatness of sound. I on my instrument, violin, I can do that. I know how to do that. And because that sound spoke to me, and I thought, and this is, I don't know, I was probably about 10 or 11. I remember thinking, if I can get that fatness of sound, I can speak to people too. I know that I can like touch so many people. This is amazing what I could do. And so at a young age, I just knew the sound I wanted. I didn't always have the proper direction to maybe necessarily get there, or maybe I wasn't paying attention, or maybe whatever, but I felt that that's what I wanted, and that's what I still want. And so that drove me to know that I could do that too. I guess I just had this feeling about myself that I was able to touch people, and through my sound, through the violin.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a beautiful way to approach it, is the fact that you're very cognizant of the fact that the instrument is also a facilitator, a conduit, a vehicle of this energy, of this desire to inspire and uplift people through. So it has a great sound, it's entertaining, it's all those other things that we like, the musicality of it. But at the same time, it cuts a lot deeper for you, because it's a way that you can reach people at deeper levels through the music itself. Some people, comedians, they use comedy as a way to reach people. Others use other things to reach people. And that violin is sort of like this third arm for you, in a way, to really reach out to people, right? That's a beautiful way to approach the understanding of the instrument, the appreciation of the instrument, the musicality of it all, but also the fact that it really can touch people at levels that go beyond just hearing the nice sound of it.
Yeah. And the beautiful music that sometimes has been written before, or that you're creating. And I have from a young age been very aware that I have this thing, and it is in the sound, but it's not like technical. It's not like a like, oh, well, I've done this so that it sounds like this. It really does come from who I am, I think. And some of that obviously is technical, obviously spent many years, many hours on technique, but it's also something that isn't technical, that's there. And for me personally, when I'm practicing or playing and I don't feel like it's going well, it's not always because, oh, that was the wrong note, or it's because, no, like that didn't quite say what I wanted it to say. And, I think musicians, artists want to say what they mean. And sometimes people love it, but it's like, but I wasn't trying to say that though.
Right.
And so that's where the frustration comes in sometimes for me, and where I kind of, where my energy comes from, the desire and the passion comes from this idea of, but I really know what I want to say, and I really want to execute it, and I really want you to hear it the way I mean it, and I want that to touch you at the end of the day.
Which is really, really cool and very, very special. For you, obviously it's a lot of time and attention and training and skill building and fine tuning to be as expert on it as you are. And you really are amazing. And we're going to share some of that music live with our lovely viewers who are commenting around the world. Blissful Angel is watching. We love her. Hello, Jim, lovelies, and welcome, Marissa, welcoming you as well. And Dawn is welcoming you as well. Merlin had asked, can you play all genres of music? And what is your personal favorite genre?
I am very versatile. I have, I can say I really have been involved in many different styles, and both recording and on stage. My personal favorite, I think, where I really gravitate toward is this Eastern European lot of rhythmic, Eastern European, Bulgarian, even Hungarian, Greek, just where there's rhythm, I really love, and also Latin music too. And
lots of percussion and other,
yeah, percussion
yeah.
and the mix of it, because
Yeah.
now obviously there are so many styles that come together and can create their own fusion. And so yeah, but I really like the Eastern European, like, folk music.
Yeah, it's really a cool sound, absolutely. But to like continue on that vein, you are versed in everything. I mean, you can pick that up and you can you know, pound out any kind of sound, which I think shows the versatility and the passion for the instrument and for you know, the music and conveying the message of the song as well. And it's really interesting because sometimes, you know, as we know, like you say, you know, some hear a piece of music and your intention for the music was one thing, but what they're connecting to and what they're getting out of it might be slightly different, or it could be
different.
or completely different, or it could be where what you're conveying is your story, but yet their story might not be exactly yours, but there's a lot of little nuances that they can grab onto that make it very connecting and very relatable for them. And then I'm sure over the years, people have told you various things as far as how your work with the violin has, you know, uplifted them, inspired them, just entertained them, made them feel good, forget about their troubles, forget about the chaos of life and all the crazy things going on, right? I'm sure that feedback must be stellar for you.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the day, you know, when I perform, like I was saying, you know, I really want to say this, I really want to say that, but what I really want is for it to touch somebody. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter to me how what I'm saying through my instrument, how what I'm performing makes a difference. I just really want it to make a difference, and I know that if I say what I'm trying to say and do that convincingly for myself, that it will it'll pour out into the audience, and that's the most important. It's really isn't about me on the stage.
Right.
It is about, I just want to reach people and and yeah, make them feel good.
And that's a unique thing. You don't always hear that all the time from performers, from everybody. It isn't about me, it's about us. And that's, again, a beautiful way to approach all of this.
And I feel incredibly lucky to be able to be someone who can do that sometimes. You know, and so that's why it's special, and that's why, you know, this year has been very hard, because that was taken away, and that wasn't a part of my life, which is the purpose of what I do. And so to find maybe different purpose, maybe go back and, you know, improve on how to better convey once everything comes back. And so I was able to do that, and I feel I'm just so excited to be here talking with everyone, and to reach people this way, and to be able to perform live again coming up.
Speaking of which, did you want to treat us to something right now so they can hear some of this incredible Marissa sound? I know you have a couple of things prepared, and maybe we can kick things off with something now, and then we'll come back to chat and weave some of the music into the conversation. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think
Jane is watching in Sweden. She says hello. She's one of our regular lovities in Sweden. Hello, everyone. Jim, and welcome, Marissa. Nice.
Hi, everyone.
Jen wants to know, let's see if we can pop up to that one. In person, have you ever had a chance to go to I guess a place where they make the violins and see how violins are actually made? Some places have tours. So have you ever gone to a factory or a place where they build and create the violins and see the process of the creation of the violin? It's a cool question.
Well, yeah, not a factory, but so this violin that I play, It is made by a maker by the name of Douglas Cox. He's a fabulous maker modern maker out of Brattleboro, Vermont. Wonderful studio and just hundreds of instruments. Such a skilled maker. And so I have been to his shop many times and been in shops that he's worked out of. And I've asked him in a nutshell how violins are, like, how do you even know what's a good wood? Like, what's this, what's that? And, there's this conception of the Stradivarius being, this all high and mighty, you have to have a Stradivarius. Most of Stradivarius's instruments were terrible. He just happened to get lucky with some good wood, some wood that aged well, that just happened to dry the right way, we'll say, and it created some amazing violins. Many times, most of his instruments, like I said, were not great. And anybody will tell you that. And so the process, I mean, you're aging wood, certain pieces of wood for 10 years at a minimum, maybe the tree that day that it got cut down, all these different factors. And so, when I've never seen like the factory tour, the factory make violins. But I can tell you that when with makers, there is what goes into each and every little grain of piece of the instrument is, they agonize over it. Like I would agonize over intonation or technique or, so it's really, really interesting. And they once the pieces are there and they've got the wood that they want, violins it's just held together by glue,
right? And very delicate too. Very delicate. It
is, and it's not. It's glue. I mean, obviously, it's fine wood, but you can take it apart. This is just held together by glue. So if there's something wrong inside, you just unglue it, and it's kind of as simple as just unglue and then put it back together. So it's
kind of like
I've seen my maker has done stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing?
How do you take it apart and put it together?
Yeah,
kind of like how our lives have been the last year or so, unglued, and then you glue it back together. And right now we're in the process of gluing it back together now.
And it's like, see, we're still here, for the most part. And some things might change, but so it is interesting. It's interesting to see how makers are they treat their instruments really rough. Actually.
So
it's funny to see.
So I would also imagine that, like, for example, right now, just holding it, what do you feel when you pick it up? I mean, it's almost like, and a lot of people have said this, it's like a child. I mean, you nurture it, you feed it, you take care of it, you look over it, you're always, conscious of it. It treats you well. It's this wonderful relationship you have between you and it and you. It's like a real extension of yourself. And in a way, you treat it like it's your baby, huh?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I mean, when you play for so many years, it becomes part of how you move almost. So I'm sitting here with this, and obviously but I'm very aware. And you become very aware of your hands as well, like the spacing of everything. And if I'm in a crowded show or crowded backstage area, I can tell you that, it may not seem like, I'm not like this with my instrument, but I am absolutely aware of where everyone is, where this is in relation to me, how much space I have. You become, and because it doesn't grow, it doesn't get bigger. It's not, this is your instrument. You become very aware of the space and your hands and where other people are in relation to you and it. And it is interesting. And this is just the most natural thing in the world here.
Yeah. Really, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. When you're not with it too long, I mean, how long can you go where you're not reaching for it, where you're not near it, you're not playing it? Can you go stretches, or do you need to go to it and just work with it?
So, that's interesting. Sometimes there are, times that extended periods of time where I'm just like, I'm tired.
You need a
Yeah,
break.
like you're sore. You're sore. You don't want to. You don't want to lift that. You don't want to see it. Maybe. um, Not that you don't love it. It's just like, yeah, we need to go and get our mind off and do something else for a second. And then there are these times, like in the middle of the night, where I'm like, oh, I've got to touch my instrument right now. I have to touch it right now. I have to just rest my hand on it. So I personally have different moments of that. There was one time my sound post fell over, which is not a big deal, but it prevented me from being able to practice. And I happened to be on vacation. So I did take my violin on vacation, and something happened with the weather. And so my sound post fell over. I couldn't play, and I loosened all the strings. I put the bridge down so that it took the tension off. But every single day for 30, 45 minutes, I had to do my exercises. Obviously, there was no sound coming out. I wasn't even using the bow, but I had to touch the instrument. It was kind of like, oh, I'm going to forget, which obviously I'm not going to, but that's how it felt. It's like, no. We've got to, even though it's a little sick right now, it's a little injured, you've got to remind yourself and remind your relationship with it that, no, I'm still taking care of you. It's still going to be here. Let's, it's going to be a little different, but there really wasn't any reason why progress couldn't be made, just because maybe the sound, maybe it wasn't at 100%, but you can still get work done. And,
Yeah.
And I just felt like, no, I'm going to touch my instrument. It has to remember, it has to know that just because it's a little on the injured list, that it's, still cared about. And so for me, mentally, I think that was more of it than I got to do these exercises.
I had a friend who mentioned that the place where the instrument went to be serviced and or repaired was called the violin hospital or the guitar hospital, almost like it is taking a person to the hospital for its tender, loving care.
Yeah.
And really cool how you hear it described that way.
Yeah. And it really becomes that, because this is how it's like taking your voice away. This is our voice. This is our ability to reach. And yes, there are other instruments, but it's not my instrument. Yes, there are other, someone can give you a loaner instrument, but it's like, okay, but that's not mine,
Right.
And so it really does become sort of possessive like that, and protective, probably more than even possessive.
Do you have, I would imagine when going on planes and things like that, you're probably very cautious and aware of where is this instrument?
Absolutely. And it never goes below. And I have missed planes. I have sat there and gotten every manager I needed to get in order to get on the plane with my violin, find a space for it, because it will not go anywhere without that. I can't see that. I don't know where it is. And that's how it is. So,
Yeah.
And there's no negotiating that.
No, that's right. It's
Nope.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
So what do you have ready to go
Well,
for us here? And thanks for treating us too.
absolutely. So I wanted to do a little. I have a show at Birdland coming up on September 13th, which is a Monday.
Congratulations too. I know you're
Yeah,
excited about
I'm
that.
really excited. It's my debut. It's the debut that got canceled
Well, yeah,
a year and a
good
half
things
ago.
come to those who wait, right?
Yes, exactly. And so I wanted to do a little kind of like a mini version of how I'm going to plan out the show, which is
Cool.
for those who can't come. Uh, I I love to start my show um, solo and have the band come up and join me very casually. Not this, like we all have our spots. It's like come up when you come up. I just find it to be really friendly to have everyone come in and join. So that's kind of how I work it. There's a beginning, middle, and end, and I usually start with just a solo unaccompanied improvisation. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go into a klezmer tune that I learned, oh God, probably 20 years ago now. And it's a really fun tune, and I think you'll like it.
Fantastic. The incomparable and acclaimed Marissa Licata is live on the Jim Masters Show Live, treating all of us with her incredible talent and her passion. And here she is. Oh my God.
Woo!
That is,
That
I was just about to say, that that is pure passion pouring right out. My God. That is spectacular.
And that's one of the really fun ones that the band and I, we love playing that one because we can just imagine. I mean, there's four other people, and we're just, going in on solos. It's so much fun.
Incredible. And the physicality too. I mean, you are all in 110%. And it's a real, not just a mental, but a physical workout too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And when I'm doing it, I don't notice it, and maybe not even after, but then you realize like, whoa, like, yeah. Well, because you're not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about that when you're
doing it.
Doing it. Yeah.
You're in the moment. You're in a zone. What is happening to you? When we do the things we love and we're in those Zen zone moments, what's flowing through you, or is it even hard to put that in words? You're just so razor sharp focused, but yet it seems free and liberating, while it's also controlled, and the technique is exacting, but yet it seems just to be so flowy and effortless. The combination of it all, that's mastery of what you do. But what are you experiencing as you're playing like what you just played right now? And I'll show you in a second some of the incredible comments coming in too.
Oh, great. I think for me, all of the practicing goes out the window. Like, right. As far as for my brain, I'm thinking about nothing technical. And I don't think when you're in a zone like that, when you're really in the moment. So technique, you've either done the work or you haven't. And if you haven't, then maybe you'll get lucky, but that even if you haven't, that needs to be out of your head. It really is about the direction of the music. It's what you're trying to say. What a lot of it is, improvisational. Like, I didn't necessarily practice those notes in that order. And when I get with the band, we're just in the mood. We're in the moment, in the mood with each other, and that's what's so great about it. For me, I'm really, I'm hearing everything. I'm hyper aware of everything going on, even wrong notes, maybe rhythms that, oh, you came in early there. You're hyper aware of it because you can use it. It's all perfect in that moment. So if you look at it from that approach, from that view, there's nothing that's going to be wrong. It's just, how do you use it? How do you create a moment out of it? How do you create the moments? So I can't say that I know exactly what I'm thinking, but I know that is how my mind is working. It's all about being just in the moment and reacting and speaking dialogue, having dialogue with what is around you.
Yeah, beautifully said. I get all of that. The technique is there, but it isn't in the forefront as far as focus, because if you focus on that, then you try to be too perfect, which can be frustrating and overwhelming, and it sort of gets in the way of the flow of what's just happening. So It's there and it's understated, but it's not the focus. The focus is, again, translating the energy, the music, the whole experience of it all, which, again, it's a fantastic way to do it, because you're really doing it authentically and people connect with it, but also can be very liberating, but takes time to understand, appreciate that, and get to that level, obviously, where you can have all the technique, you can have all the expertise, but you're not sitting there dwelling on that. You're actually on the other side of things, feeling the moment and the music and translating that through the performance, right?
Yeah, because it's all about, music was never this thing, at the beginning of time when music first started happening, people just, collectively, you liked a sound, you liked this, you liked what you were hearing, and you banged on something, or you played, say, if there was an instrument there, people weren't like let me practice a million hours and then I'll come to this place where I'm allowed to play here or whatever. No, it was just like, let's talk, let's listen to good music, let's have dialogue, however that is. And that's really what I feel I want to do. I don't want the audience to feel like they're not somehow supposed to be there, or like what I'm doing is so high up and that it's just, it's so, it's just, it's music. We just enjoy it, however that is. And,
Right.
like you were saying, it doesn't have to be my story. You don't even have to get what I'm saying. If it means something to you, then that's perfect. And that's what we do. And that's why we do it. And that's how music was always learned. It's how music was always shared. And so this idea of, somehow everyone not being welcome to be there and share in this can sometimes come in certain groups of musicians. And I think that's what I try to do the exact opposite of.
Right, exactly.
The point is to share with as many people as possible. So,
speaking of which, Sherry Larson in Kansas says she's fantastic, and Mary says she's wonderful, and Alessandra says, I'm enjoying myself, Jim. We love that. And Jane in Sweden says, I love the sound of this instrument. Coming to you from Sweden. Joan Sandoz says, how beautiful, amazing talent. Thank you for sharing your gift with us here at Lovety Hall. And I love it. Very talented, from Alessandra in North Carolina. Jane loving it again in Sweden. Encore. Yeah, there's a few more coming up here. Mary says, absolutely beautiful, Marissa. And Merlin says, wow, you play with such enthusiasm. How many strings have you broken over the years?
Oh, well, lots of strings break. Bow hairs break more often. Man, sometimes the bow will just be frayed.
Yeah.
Bow hairs. These strings, you want to replace them about every 6-7 months. I don't do that. I wait until they until they break. I wait until they get pretty not so great sounding. So don't do that if you play violin. But yeah, it happens every once in a while. But definitely bow hairs break. They're just thinner, and if you're getting a little wild with it, they're just more delicate. But it's okay, because you can get them rehaired.
This is beautiful. Joan says, I'm so sad for all the people in harm's way here and overseas. Thanks for making me smile with your music, Marissa.
Oh, thank you, John.
Another great show, Austin Field. Thank you, Austin. And that's sort of the gravy, the icing on all of this, is when you see comments like that. The world is in a funky place, but hearing this and spending time with us on the show, and you're playing and conversing and expressing, is making everybody feel good. And that makes you feel good too, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
It's a whole cyclical situation, symbiotic relationship here.
Yes. And right now we all need to do that as much as possible, help each other, whether we know each other or not, just help each other to feel good as often as possible, because obviously there's a lot that is not making people feel great right now. So anything that I can do, I depend on others too,
right. Me too.
Being right here and talking to you. So
yeah, I appreciate that. Right back at you. You've got another piece you want to share with us, right?
Yes, this is a Bulgarian tune, and it's called Vernetsky Tanz. It means dance of Varna. And it's a fun tune. It's an odd metered, so it's in 9. And I'm going to try to give you a solo version.
Very nice.
And with the band, if anyone's in the New York area with the band, man, we really kick this tune. This is definitely one of the crowd favorites.
So Birdland is again September 13th.
Monday, September 13th at 8:30.
Wonderful.
at
Beautiful.
Birdland. Tickets at birdlandjazz.com.
Yeah, fabulous place. It's been there many, many times.
Yes, so many years. It's recently reopened. They're doing there is a COVID protocol and policy put in
Protocols.
place. Vaccination is required, and everyone, staff, performers, employees, everybody is vaccinated. So they have brand new ventilation systems in the theaters, in the halls. So very safe environment, and looking to keep everyone healthy. So that is on the 13th of September.
You're going to lift their spirits at the same time, which is a beautiful thing. Absolutely. Music is very healing, isn't it?
It is that.
Yeah.
It is that.
All right. Wow. Just letting that soak in a little bit there. My God. It's like I don't know who has more enjoyment and pleasure out of it, the audience or you. I think it's a little bit of a combo situation.
It's a combo. It's a combo. Hopefully it's a combo. I have a great time.
Yeah. You do. You really, really do.
And that's what I've always said. People have asked me too about performing, and it's like, oh, well, like, how do you feel when you're on, how are you feeling when you're on stage? Are you nervous? And for me, the answer that I've realized is that all I want to do on stage when I'm playing is have a party at my own show. I want to be having a party as I hope the audience is having a party. I literally want to be at a party. And at this one, if I'm performing, okay, I'm working to create that, but I just want to have an absolute blast. And so that's what I make sure happens, because why not?
Yeah, absolutely. No, when you get a chance to do, we're the blessed ones. We get to do work and things that speak to who we are and just flow out of us, and be able to connect with people at the same time. And I say that often, gratitude as much as empathy are very important things in our life. Empathetic, relating to people and understanding their plight and just being empathetic to situations. Numero uno, that's very important. but being, having gratitude for the blessings. Obviously, you've worked really hard to get to where you are. It's, I did violin when I was like a teenager, and it isn't the easiest of instruments to just be able to do what you do. So it's taken a lot of resilience, tenacity, blood, sweat, and tears, hours. And now it flows out of you in a way that's just like, water cascading off a cliff, a waterfall. It's so effortless, but a lot of time put in to get to that point. So I commend you because you're so versatile, and you just have, and I've seen, some of the performances, and you're all in. As I said earlier, you are having such a good time. You're playing off all the energy of what's going on around you, the other musicians, the theme, all of it. And you can tell that you are absolutely living your bliss, aren't you?
Yes, I really do. And thank you for saying that and noticing that, because like I said, some of the hardest part about this past year and a half has been, you start to wonder, like, oh, do I still have that effect? Like, do I still touch people? Like, what if I don't know, what if I come back after this and I'm not, like, I think I'm, reaching people. I think I'm doing something that is important, meaningful music. And, that's still the point. But what if I'm not doing what I think I'm doing? And because being by yourself, you have to kind of just generate that you're on your own. And it's been hard. And sometimes you question that because you have no one else to bounce anything off of. And so thank you for saying that. And I'm just, that's the reason why I'm so thankful and grateful for the opportunity to be able to be here, to be able to play again safely and in a great city, and to be able to truly start where I left off.
Yes.
But it wasn't always a given either, for so many reasons.
Well, I understand what you're saying as far as, like, do you think, because of not having the ability to get out there and do your thing as you were doing because of this great pause, am I going to lose that muscle memory? Am I going to lose something? Is that edge going to go away? Am I going to have to restart this engine? And it's apparent the answer to all of that is no, no, and no, because you're able to, not that you don't have to dust things off. We all have to from time to time. It's like putting oil in the engine of a car. You got to keep things lubricated, keep things going. But it comes back to you in a way that's just like, boom. And I just want to show you some of the comments. Juanita in South Africa saying, awesome, love it. Christine Clifton, North Carolina, Marissa and her violin became one. Incredible skills and talent. Both are exceptional. Austin Field is saying that is great playing. Anne in Southern California, she did a super sticker supporting our show. Thank you very much, Anne. We love that. That's what the super chat, super sticker is all about. And you're the best. Thank you so very, very much. We really appreciate that. And Mary Bishop says, brilliant, loving this. And she's in Florida. Sherry Larson says, toe tapper, beautiful. Merlin in Canada, you make it look so effortless. Jen Barry, dancing in me living room now, she says with the Irish accent. And says, you are, Marissa, a blessing. So really, Marissa, if you're ever down, just hop on the Jim Master Show live and lift you right up. The vibe, the energy, the aura is way up with all the positivity here on our show. Yeah, it's really, really cool. All the levity.
I'm so happy. Like these comments and, being able to share like this with obviously people I've never met, and I, would never have otherwise had the opportunity to share with. This really, it makes a difference to me, a huge difference to me. Just because, like most of us, we've been alone, and there's only so much alone that you can have,
right.
and truly keep everything together.
together and
So
right,
yeah,
going in a forward movement.
yep,
Exactly.
going in a forward movement without a lot of negativity coming in, and even when you have something like music, which saved me, like saved certainly saved a lot of
Yeah.
the negativity over this
Push
time.
those
But
negative thoughts out. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but but there are times when just you alone with that music is just not enough,
Yeah.
and these
Right.
comments are, you know, incredibly moving for me too. So thank you to
Uh,
everybody too.
our pleasure. Our pleasure. There's something else you have for us too, right?
Yeah, so well, I've over in November I was contacted by a country rock band actually, and they said, you know, we've had our eye on you for a while, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is one style that I have not just never played, and not that I love it, but I just never had been really involved in it. And being around New England, and we
Hmm.
there is a tradition of fiddle, sort of fiddle music there.
Well,
Uh,
Merlin is asking, it's perfect you say that. Can you play your violin like a fiddle?
Oh, I can for sure. And with this band, it definitely have. I can do a little. You know, I was going to do a slower fiddle tune, but maybe I'll see what I got in my little brain.
See what's coming through, what energy's coming through you, right? All right. See what flows out of you. That was incredible. That was
Wasn't sure which one I was going to pick, so I thought I would start with a little Angeline the Baker. If there are any fiddle fans, it's one tune that I've always really liked, Angeline the Baker, and then the last was the Ashokan Farewell, which may be done as an encore during my show.
Yeah.
Just a solo encore. So yeah, that was the Ashokan Farewell from the Tim Burns documentary.
Really fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, very familiar with that too. Of course, with my work with public television over the years.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Celtic Woman, Celtic Thunder. I mean, all of the Celtic. Yeah, my friends with that too. Joan says, "Wow, beautiful. Thank you. You made your violin cry. Wow." Wow. You know, that's another thing too. Instruments can really, the violin, and also I've mentioned it for me, another instrument that really immediately grabs me. And we had, I interviewed in my professional television world, a cellist who was a Juilliard grad. And I was talking about how the cello, that those warm, deep, sort of melancholy sounds of the cello, when I hear it, it sort of stops traffic for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, that it's like almost like you're hearing the meaning of life or something when you hear that depth, that warmth of the cello. And it's funny because he was getting everything I was saying, how I was giving it these human qualities. Though I tend to do that with everything. I can take a chair and give the chair human qualities. But with instruments, I tend to humanize a lot of things. But with instruments, they really are like a voice. They really are like a heart. They really are like extensions of ourselves. And these reactions, like you made it cry, or you can make it smile, or you can make it, you know, sing, is unbelievable, isn't it? How people can pick up on that.
Yep. And again, that's what it's about. You know, and you know, that's what you work to be able to convey. Technically, yes, there are techniques to do that, but you also have to know what you want to say, what you want to, you know, what emotion, at least directionally, where you're trying to lead it. So, yeah, no, these are some of the best compliments, because it means that whatever you're doing, what you've been doing, what you are saying is being taken in by your audience, by anybody listening, by the other side. So
yeah,
that's why I do it.
Yeah, she's in Pennsylvania. She says, Marissa, thank you for spending time with us. Yes. Alessandra says the violin is an extension of its player's self. I agree.
Thank you.
What was it like? A couple more here. That was lovely from Juanita in South Africa. Love this. And Joan says, wow, beautiful. Thank you. Again, you made the violin cry, and that's really picking that out is just amazing. So magical, so beautiful, so soothing, wonderful. Love your versatility. Celtic, agree. Welcome, Toby, who's watching from Encino, California, live right now. All kinds of fantastic emojis coming in from Sweden, and Jane, she's loving it. Merlin says that sounds Irish. Awesome toe tapping, and thank you. Hearts from Sherry. Toby in California says, Marissa, stunning. I agree. Jen picked up her orange tambourine, was playing along with you. That's inspiration. Hey,
yeah, see,
you want them to pick up the tambourine.
And I could use some
the tambourine. Exactly.
I need a rhythm section.
That's it. That's really, really cool. What was it like? Obviously, you know, Jethro Tull, and having the opportunity to tour and perform with Jethro Tull. What was that like for you? Incredible experience and opportunity.
Incredible experience, and I will say to date, my favorite tour, my favorite band person. Ian Anderson is just amazing to work with, and I didn't realize till later that our styles in that sort of odd metered folk music. I mean, obviously there's a folk style to his music, but there's also an Eastern European folk style to his music, not just the the English or he's Scottish actually originally, but not just those from those regions, from Eastern Europe. There's odd meter there, and he would put it in a more modern context. So it's taking it out of maybe the traditional, but so much of his music is so really well put together rhythmically, and it goes along. At the time, I didn't even know who Ian Anderson was when he said, "Oh, this is Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull." I'm like, I don't know what that means. Oh, did I forget to pay my rent? Are you my rent? What? Okay, what do you? I didn't know who he was, but in obviously performing with him on the tours and just getting to know him, and he's a friend, I would say, and our musical styles actually were much more in sync than I knew at the time when I was like a teenager when I got that gig. So again, really lucky, really right place, right time.
Yeah,
I had practiced my ass off, obviously,
Yeah,
but I was set up to be able to go in and play whatever anybody was going to ask of me, whether it was him or some other person.
Yeah.
Just lucky, and there was luck involved, and there was hard work involved.
Yes, absolutely. Steven Tyler is another you've had an opportunity to play with.
So he's actually really good friends with James Montgomery, the blues harmonica player. And James is going to be joining me on my show at Birdland on the 13th of September.
Awesome.
He is my special guest. He and I have toured for years together as well. Good friend, funny guy, always a blast performing with him. And he's really good friends with Steven Tyler. So there's lots of connections. There's connections everywhere. And
Alicia Keys you played with?
Alicia Keys, yeah. That was something that came off of a friend of mine from school, from England Conservatory. And he happened to be doing some tracks and for some production for her entertainment company at the time, her management. And, just having some friends, having right place, right time. I will say a lot came through my connection with the New England Conservatory, which world-renowned school, and world-renowned pillar of music in Boston, but really in the world. And but I will say that my time there is what led me to these different places. Not that it couldn't have happened otherwise, not that it wouldn't have, not that many different paths, obviously. But for me, the hard work and the fact that I was there at that time is what helped me to snowball everything and start this transition from strictly classical music to other types of music.
Even performing with Wyclef, huh? Tell us about that.
Wyclef, yeah. So I did the Hall & Oates song, Rich Girl. And he asked me one day, I had done a performance down in Lower East Side, and one of his, I think, assistants or maybe his agent, I don't know, somebody was there, was taking video of me, and I'm like, who's this person? So then he told me who he was, and I was like, oh, yeah, when people say a lot of things, they're like, oh, I work with so-and-so. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, yeah, show your friend, your boss, my thing. And then a couple days later, I get a call from Wyclef saying, so I'm doing a remix of the Hall & Oates tune, Rich Girl. Can you do strings for me? And I was like, yes.
I think that's a yes. I don't even need to check my calendar on that one.
Yeah, exactly. I need to check my calendar because if there's anything there, I'm clearing it.
That's it.
And so, and got into a lot of a lot of, and that actually helped me get into the recording, string arranging. That gave me my first one of my first tries at it. Really, he said, do something with this and perform it, and write yourself some string parts, do whatever you need, and get some string arrangements together. So that was a really lucky way to get a chance at doing that side and get into the studio with some of these, big stars too.
Isn't that incredible how that works? I mean, sometimes you never know. And that's why it's good to stay connected with everybody, because you end up on stage or in a studio with them sometimes. I've had so many people in my industry, in television, radio, and stage and film, where it was like I worked with that person for maybe 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden, 2 years later, we're in the same studio doing the same thing. So it's really it's extraordinary, some of the connections, the networking, and just how everybody supports one another too, which is very important.
Yep. Because you never know who might just offhand say, oh man, do you happen to know a violinist? Oh man, do you happen to know, and if they happen to know you, and it is a matter of luck, but it's like, if they know you and they mention your name and you're ready, then that's an opportunity right there. That's how I got my chances. Some of my very first chances.
That's right.
Just happened to be around, was hanging around a backstage door, got some coffee for somebody I didn't know. And next thing I know, it's like, hey, do you want to play this concert with us?
Isn't that amazing how that works?
Yeah.
Staying connected. It's true. I've had the similar things where I worked with somebody, or I saw them at an event or whatever, a function. And then they're like, oh, let's tell us a little bit more about, or I've seen some of your work. I love what you do, type of thing. Hey, we're doing this. We'd love you to hop on board and be a part of it. Or you do something with somebody or a group or a team, and they love it because you came in and you nailed it. You didn't create chaos. You weren't all demanding and all dramatic. You just did what needed to be done, and you had that rapport and worked with everybody. It was like a team. It was we, not I. And they're like, we like that. We want you back. We have another thing we have.
Yeah, and especially if and in those situations too,
best.
If you happen to save someone's ass while doing that, it's like,
that's another, yes. If you can save someone's, you've saved, that goes far. If you save their butt and save them money, those
exactly. There's that too.
Those tend to make the phone ring, don't they?
Don't worry.
Well, it's obvious you love all of this. This is, you're just demonstrating a little bit of it for us here. Your incredible talent and passion, and all the, the skill and everything. And when you put a show together like the one that's coming up at Burnland in New York City, that wonderful jazz club and venue we know and love so well, what is it like putting it? Obviously, when you're playing with others who have it all formalized and what they want to do, and you're coming in and you're a piece of the puzzle of that larger group, it's a different scenario a little bit than when you're creating the show. So what is that process like for you? And what are some of the things you look for and you hope to be able to create during that experience when it's your show that you're putting together?
Yeah, well, I do try to draw from past examples of people like Ian Anderson, who are pros at putting a show together, and just try to kind of work off what I know their sort of foundational blueprint of how they, you've got, it's like, all right, well, just on the most basic level, you get out your receipt and you start making a list of what do you need. So, okay, well, I definitely need a band. Okay, well, who's going to be in the band? And for me, when I'm choosing people to play with, I am fortunate to know a lot of people, but I'm looking for people who are just going to give 100% of what they have. We can rehearse anything that might be a problem or something where, oh, okay, we don't know that, and let's get that more together tight. So, yeah, there's the hiring the band and finding the personalities that are going to work well with me, but that are going to work well together, and get a show together, like you said, saving money, not wasting time. And all this goes in. It's like, you've got different personalities, and it's like, I really like this guy. I really like this person. He's great. But, and then you start remembering there was that time though, he wasn't on time, and it's like, nope, this is going to start costing me money. So
created havoc, or
yeah. And not that, I definitely give people chances and second chances, and, but all of those factors come into play. And that's probably the biggest, because for me, that's the number one. That is what you have to do. But then, and that's the most important. But then there's social media, and then there's the promotion of it. It's like, well, who's going to come to your show? All this, which is, again, why talking to you and being able to just share with more people, just get the word out, is so, I'm so grateful for that. Because that's a full-time job.
It really is. The marketing, branding, and promotion and PR. Yeah,
that's really a full-time job. People are like, oh, you can do it yourself. Yeah, you can if you spend your whole life at that. Yeah, you can do that. But I have a show to put on, which is my whole life, which is my priority. So,
I know how that is.
Just how do you balance? You definitely don't want to be chintzy, but there's only so much money that can be allotted for certain, which is another thing though that I learned from Ian Anderson about just you budget. Everyone budgets. Some people are working with a bigger budget, some people aren't, but he budgets, and he's smart, and he doesn't spend where he doesn't need to, and I can tell you that most everyone else that I've worked with does not do that. Or maybe they think they need to, but he really takes the time to make a list, thinks about it, and does it himself. He does it himself. I mean, he designates people to, but he finds the right people to do all the things that need to be done. And he relies on himself to make that call.
That's cool stuff.
And that's why he is really the person I look up to in really all aspects of the entertainment business, and how you do it properly, because you've got a lot of people telling, oh, get somebody on violin. No, not Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson is like, I will audition for who I want. I will decide who I want. I will audition several places. I'm not going to rely on somebody's opinion on what is going to go in my show. This is not just a casting call. This is, I want to, I need to know who's playing for me. I need to make my own judgment. And I really appreciate that about him.
Very important. Learning a lot along the way, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Learning a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was young when I started with him, so I learned that, and I got to see it over several years. And I still think about it, and think about what he has done and what he would do, and some of it's guesswork still. It definitely does not always work out well. You get a recommendation. It's like, all right, well, I gotta try, you can't just sit there and not try, but you try to do as much research as you can to not get stuck in a bad situation.
Exactly right. Preparation is king, right? Learning, observing, so you can limit being proactive. Yes, that's really important. Toby in Encino, California had asked, who would you like to collaborate with that you may not have already?
Oh, wow. Well,
long list, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah, long list. And unfortunately, some of the list are there, I born too late. I was, I guess.
Here. Yeah. My father has always said that about me too. Born like 30 years too late.
Yeah. Actually, there are a number of Broadway actors and actresses who I would love to work with. Some that I've seen, some who I've actually had the chance to work with, but who I'd love to work with in some sort of solo capacity. I've done some work, in the theater scene, and there are just a number of really, really great singers that I'm just like, whoa. I recently did the lineup with Susie Mosher's lineup at Birdland. And so that's back. And she had some amazing people on that lineup who weren't necessarily like musicians as a career, but they were some of the most incredible voices I've ever heard. So, they're everywhere. I really would like to explore more with in theater with theater actors.
How about for example, if you had opportunities to, maybe you have, to perform with people of the likes of some of the really renowned movie score conductors, writers, arrangers, producers, like the John Williams, and like if they said, hey, we would like you to be in on that, or we'd like you to do a night or two with Keith Lockhart and the Boston Pops or something.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's it. It's a yes. You heard it here first. It was definitive. It is yes.
Yeah. And if they would accept me for a live audition, if they would grant me a live audition, I would be there to audition for them too. But yeah. So no, that is something that I have auditioned for. It's something
you have.
I absolutely have. And I'm not ashamed to say that I have never made the cut. And, there's so much that goes into that, but absolutely. Yes. I mean, that would be a dream to be able to perform with Boston Pops on 4th of July at the Esplanade. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or out at Tanglewood in the Berkshires in Massachusetts.
Or like in the backyard or anywhere.
Anywhere. That's right. Yeah. Big Y supermarket parking lot, whatever it takes. Stop and shop.
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Yes. Tons of conductors, tons of I really enjoyed ballet as well. I've done work with the Boston Ballet, but ballet is a whole other realm, as is opera, but some of the best music that, like the most moving spiritual music that will ever, touch earth. And so I want to do it all. Yeah.
Just some of the people we've mentioned that you've had an opportunity to accompany and play with, that's a vast, variety of genres of music and influences. And some of the folks that you've really been influenced by, who else are some of the folks coming up that really, the music that you've enjoyed and some of those that you admired and still admire today, past or present, coming up the ranks?
Yeah. A lot of jazz, Ornette Coleman, Cannonball Adderley. Obviously, because of my father's influence, I heard a lot of the jazz, of the jazz that he listened to that influenced him. I will tell you that 50s, 60s doo-wop, huge influence on me. That may be my favorite style of music, actually. Quite possibly. It definitely depends on my mood, but and people are sometimes shocked to hear that because they're like, it's not considered sophisticated or, whatever. And it's just like, I don't care. It's good. And
feel good stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
And it may not be the most complex, but does it need to be? No, because if it's good, it's good. So, and that's how I approach music. That's how I listen to music. Herbie Hancock, another one. I'm just looking at my list actually here. Bo Diddley, a lot of just the American music, with that blues influence, is and I think that it has really come through in my own style, because even when I mix it in with different styles, because of the fact that the blues is, I think, what makes American music. That influence, that you're not going to find that in other styles. You don't quite find that sound. And in the fiddle music, same thing. I mean, that's blues. I mean, it's blues in a different context, but you've got that's blues. American sound. There's an American these influences have, this is where I've grown up. So this is what I hear. It's what I try to, what I like of what I hear. It's what I try to play as best I can.
Well, you certainly do, my friend. Obviously we all have blessings and joys in our life that propel us to continue to keep going forward through thick and thin, and keep improving ourselves and our outlook and our talents and our skill set. What are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, Marissa, that propel you forward and keep you wanting to be creative and do what you do so well for the good of everybody else?
Well, I'm going to take it in a little bit different direction, although I really feel like it's very similar, but being active physically active, working out. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I did a lot of working out to progress, give myself something to work for, have a goal. But I have always been active and used fitness, sports to better my violin playing. And I really believe that that there's a direct correlation, because of how you mentioned, these shows at times and are very physical, and even when they're not necessarily athletic or jumping around, they are physically, there are things that have to be happening, that have to be strong, and the stronger you are, the more stable you are, the better you're going to be able to speak, execute, just do what you want to do musically, through your instrument, and without pain, because that's another thing too. Very discouraging to play when you're in pain. And
you've had times you've had to do that?
I mean, yeah. And it all becomes from maybe not understanding physically maybe the muscles that are supposed to be working, because people don't talk about it as much as they should. Violin teachers in general don't talk about the physicality of whatever it is that you're doing. It needs to be talked about, I think, number one, even how to stand properly, how to walk properly. Most people aren't doing it the right way. And not because it's any hard thing to do. It's just you've never been made aware. And I know I wasn't made aware. And once I was like, whoa, oh man, this is so much better. And then you can say what you want to say easier. Again, very discouraging to play and like, why is my arm hurting? Why is my arm killing me? Because then the doubts of, well, am I going to be able to do this again tomorrow? Like, this doesn't feel good. Like, this shouldn't be happening. Why is this happening? What's wrong with me?
And you start doubting. And, it makes me think of somebody I had an opportunity to interview on PBS, Andre Rieu, the incredible violinist, of course, from Holland, and all of his specials. And he used to do a lot of those meets and greets with folks where he would put out his hand and do the shake. And I think there was one time, or maybe a couple of times, where with the enthusiasm, I guess, for people, fans to meet him, there was one or two that grabbed his hand and really squeezed it to a point where he was like, okay, I got a question doing this, because this is my bread and butter. That hand for him is huge. So he sort of pulled back on doing some of that because he was afraid of a potential injury happening with the hand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all parts of the body you've got to really care for. And in those cases, you know, you have this renowned violinist and conductor and arranger as well, who is thinking ahead, preventative, like, because I guess there was one woman who really grabbed it and almost had the blood come out of the hand. So he's like, okay, I might have to just wave from afar.
Yeah. Well, Ian Anderson does the elbow.
Does the elbow.
That's a little elbow tap. That's right. And he's like, no, with everybody. So, you know, I mean, people for certainly. And, you know, with the, you start thinking about like physically, and obviously as you get older too, when you're 12, you don't think about pain, that there's no pain, you know, that's not a thing. But, you know, you start getting older and it's like, oh, that didn't used to happen when I did this, you know? And so you kind of make yourself aware of it. But, I will say I've been a swimmer all of my life. My mother started me in swimming when I was six months old. And she said, I just swam away from her immediately. So apparently a natural swimmer. And, I swim 4,000 to 5,000 yards a day.
Yeah, I love swimming.
For my violin playing, not only, but I love swimming. It's great. It works out everything. It's safe. It is just such a really healthy sport. But for me, it has a lot to do with my violin playing. The reason why I train the way I do is with this thought of, all right, let's be balanced for what you do in your life. And the more balanced you can be, the better. So we've learned a lot of that as well this year, and how to feel really good. And I can say no pain anymore. I've learned how to play with no pain. If anything, I've learned how to be preventative rather than wait for it and then have to fix it.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing.
That's really incredible. No pain. That's good to hear. And, you know, like I said, you are just really, knock us dead with your talent and your passion and love for what you do, my friend. And I really encourage folks to go. Obviously, we're live now. So if they're watching this 6 months from now, you've probably done 5 million other things. But for now, watching live, it's going to be the 13th. On stage there at Birdland in New York City. And I know you're very excited about it, to get back out there and to perform and to entertain and to empower and inspire.
And to be with my fans, to be with the fans. Guys.
Absolutely. And I would imagine too, I could see you at some point teaching, mentoring others as you've been mentored, as you've soaked it all up, doing that for others who are considering doing what you do, and they're just picking up a violin for the very first time. Yeah,
I would love to, because that's also another way to share. And that's how that's the ultimate way to share. So I've done some. I haven't done as much just because of the performance schedule.
Yeah, it takes so much time. Yeah,
it does. But you know, lots of different ways to share, and I'm definitely interested in all of them.
Well, you continue to share, and you've shared a lot with us today, and got a little sidekick here who usually makes his appearance towards the latter part of the show. And he just wanted to say, you did good, kid.
Oh,
George Burns is in the house.
Well, great. I've got the ultimate approval then.
Yeah, from George Burns. He's got a cigar and the whole bit.
There it is. Oh, I didn't see it.
There it is. Okay. And he sends you there's a cigar. He sends you his best, and he said lots of levity to you. And you're amazing, Marissa. And I think just so cool that you have an opportunity to share all of this in the way that you do. As I said, it takes a lot of years and time put in. I want to show you what some of the lovelies are saying here too. Juanita, watching with us in South Africa. This was a lovely conversation. Thank you, Marissa, for spending time with us and sharing your amazing music right here on the Jim Master Show Live. Sherry Larson, thank you for sharing your talents with us. Enjoyed listening to you there in Canada, and not Canada, in Kansas. And Merlin is in Canada. They're all over. They're all over. Lovelies are everywhere on the Jim Master Show Live. Wonderful conversation of violin playing today. Thank you, Marissa. And Toby in California, great show. Thank you very much. Really amazing. I hope that the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I really have with you, Marissa. This was
I
awesome.
am having a great time. I had a great time, and love meeting new people. And so and your Lovities, the Lovity squad, I love that everyone's so diverse and from all over. And met some new people and got to talk with you, and
cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool stuff, isn't it? Alessandra said I created this is turning out to be the atmosphere and vibe that I wanted, this warmth, conversational, old school style of talk show type situation with this modern vibe and making it welcoming for the guests, for the viewers. So I'm glad you picked up on that vibe, Marissa. Alessandra says this was so wonderful. Thank you, Alessandra in North Carolina. And Anaya's watching in Paris. Really interesting episode. Thank you, Marissa. You're so talented and nice. So they love you in France, which is beautiful. And Toby says, wow, in California. Good stuff. You're amazing, my friend. Thanks for all of the great music, the terrific, inspiring conversation. And let's definitely stay in touch and hope to get together. I would love to do that and break bread. It would be awesome. You're phenomenally talented, very spirited. And it was really an honor to have you with us today on the show.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. I had a great time.
Now go stretch those legs, as I tell all the guests. Get the circulation going. Go stretch those legs. Have a sandwich.
Do that. I'm gonna go swim right now.
Go swim, yes. And as Toby says, happy gigging.
Thank you.
Happy gigging. But truly, I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I have with you.
I absolutely did. Thank you so much.
Your pleasure is mine, and mine is yours, and that's the best way to be. Thanks, Marissa. Take care, and good luck again, Birdland, September 13th. And any thought of a CD or anything that you would put out of your music?
That's also in the works. It's definitely something that can now happen. So yes, in the future, unfortunately not on the 13th yet, but it'll be happening.
That would be a lot to try to get a CD.
In a couple of weeks, it might be too much, but
yeah. Christine in North Carolina says, thanks for sharing your musical talents with us today. You are extraordinary. You're brilliant, enjoyable conversation. I wish you decades of great success and happiness in your career. Lovity.
Thank you.
Good way to wrap, huh?
Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks, Marissa. You're the absolute best. Thanks for all the time and all the music. And we will chat again soon. We'll keep that porch light on for you, okay?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right. You take care.
Bye, Jim.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
The wonderful Marissa Licata here exclusively on the Jim Master Show Live. Was that not awesome? Maybe you are familiar with her work and her talent. Maybe you've seen her perform with some of the others I mentioned, and she mentioned Jethro Tull and Alicia Keys and Wyclef and so many others. And then, of course, independently as well. And this was great. She said she doesn't really do a lot of this kind of thing where, the focus is on her and it's like an interview style or a conversation talk show situation. So this was sort of like a first in many ways for her. And I'm very honored that, she wanted to come on the show. We actually, as I mentioned, we put this episode together rather quickly because I got the contact from the folks that she works with who Remember, we had David Osmond on the show as well, and we had an epic conversation with David about music, about growing up Osmond, about his MS that he deals with. Donnie and Marie, of course, who are his aunt and uncle, his dad, Alan Osmond. Through that, they had said, we have Marissa Licata, and she's amazing. I'm like, Marissa, I know all about her. She's just like a firecracker, and she's amazing. Would you like to have her come on the show? She would love to come on, Jim, and we love your show. And I said, absolutely. So, our shows are pretty much booked all the way to the end of September with guests. And they said she has a show coming up on the 13th in September. Can we somehow have her come on? I said, absolutely. We'll move heaven and earth. So we didn't even have one planned for today. Today we were going to take off, with family. Matter of fact, I'm going to be meeting some friends at a yacht club, actually. It's not too bad. With Lynn Constantine, the author who was with us a couple of nights ago. We're going to have dinner with Lynn and her husband and other friends. We're all meeting along the coast for dinner. It's nice. It's about 74 degrees here. So we're headed off there now. But so we put it together this afternoon, this show, so we can get it in time for the Birdland announcement, which I think was really cool. And my pleasure to do that. Really my pleasure. Toby says at Gym Masters TV, great research you gather prior to your guests, and you always make them feel comfy. Thank you for noticing that, Toby. Yeah, we do a lot of research here at the show. I do the research, and also, which is kind of interesting, even if I had no research at all, I can just find a way to keep the conversation going and flowing. I love ad lib. I love when we don't have questions prepared. Like with these conversations, there's no questions that are pre-prepared. She didn't know what I was going to ask. I flow, and go with the flow. And she was terrific, Marissa. It was like a fantastic tennis match back and forth. Those are some of my favorite conversations where we're both kindred spirits on the same page, feeding off each other's. I might be the host, but I don't see myself as, hey, I'm in charge and you follow me. No. It's an equalized situation. And that's what I love. Not all hosts, not all on-air people are like that or think that way. But I always have. I think it's an equalized situation between me, and if we have a guest and the viewers, I think it's all of us who are winning and benefiting. It's impromptu, it's ad lib. Some of that, a lot of it comes from within. I've always been able to be a conversationalist. My father very much that way as a New Yorker. But maybe being president of the debate team in New York at LIU, that might have accentuated some of the ad lib, impromptu, extemporaneous ability those years back in college, being the president of the debate team. But it's something I think that's always come naturally. So you can give me, and there's been times where I've been thrown out on stage, thrown onto the stage, thrown on television, thrown on radio, where there was supposed to be somebody else on with me, maybe like a co-host or somebody else, and they fell ill or they had to walk right off the stage or off the set or out of the studio, and I've had to just keep going. I love that. I love, the ability to just take thin air or an empty paper bag and turn it into what it is. And shows like this, again, there's no teleprompter. There's no script. We don't have questions. I'm not looking down, reading anything. I get a feel for the person. I get a feel for you guys, the audience. I get a feel for the guest. And I do, like, who said it? One of the guests said the other night, I think it was Connie Jackson, maybe last night. She said, she watches some of our other episodes. And she said, you really listen, Jim. You really listen. And a lot of people, they're only interested in their questions that they're asking. That's all they care about is the questions they're asking and how is everything looking for them. And they're not really listening to the guest or even care necessarily about what the guest has to say. I'm the opposite. I think there's something to learn every time you are in the presence of another human being. Even if you're standing in a supermarket line, there's always something to learn every day, something for you to give and something for the other person to give. and you give together. I just think that's cool. So this show is sort of a reflection of that way of thinking. It's a very special, unique place. Might not be for everybody, of course, but hey, we have a good time on the show. We sort of go deep a little bit, a lot of laughs. We always learn something, and you leave sort of energized and inspired, which is cool. And again, that's kind of the way that really good talk shows used to be done, with the veteran talk show hosts. And we take that element, that foundation, and then we, dust it off, and we add a modern twist and a modern vibe of today. We combine those two worlds together, which is really, really cool. So thanks for all the comments and all the activity live during the show. You guys are the best. Thank you very much, Toby. We're going to have to switch into that attire as well. And Juanita in South Africa says, another lovely guest. Thanks, Jim. Send our love to Lynn and enjoy the dinner. Good night, everyone. Have a great week. You too as well. And thanks for those great comments. Love it. And Nayas in Paris, France, she says, enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Goodbye, everyone. I've got a job interview on Tuesday and I start freaking out. Well, here, we've got something for you. We usually wait to the end of the show. Here's what you do. Remember Jim Masters here in America showing you in France this. So don't freak out. I'm sure you're going to, do well. Relax. This is so perfect. We usually show this at the end of the show, which is basically about now anyway. So there you go, Nias, there in Paris. For your job interview, just relax. We actually got this in Newport, Rhode Island at one of the shops there when we were on a family vacation. It looks like a 1920s, 1930s beach scene there in Newport. And sometimes we show it at the end. Love one another, take care of one another, breathe from the diaphragm. Marissa will tell you that too. When you breathe from the diaphragm, you get a fuller breath, you get all that energy, the oxygen flows through. So breathe. A lot of us have been hyperventilating. You want to breathe from the diaphragm. So relax and good luck there in Paris with your job interview. I think you've got it, my friend. So good luck with that. And everybody, see, look at all the levity. Everybody is now rooting you on with your job interview. See, you got it coming from Sweden, and you got it coming from Florida and South Africa and North Carolina, USA. We're all there for you. We have a bevy of amazing shows coming up for all of you. And I just want to let you know some of the extraordinary guests. Again, we really sincerely thank Marissa for joining us. She is an extraordinary talent and an amazing person. Don't forget Birdland, September 13th. Otherwise, you can see her here, there, and everywhere. And we'll keep you posted on other things that she's doing. Tomorrow, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, extraordinary author of War Widow, Ziva Bachman-Flamhaft, will be live from, or joining us, that is, from New York City tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's right. Then on Tuesday, the amazing Dina Martin is joining us, daughter of Hollywood legend Dean Martin, of course, singer and actress extraordinaire, live at 4 p.m. Eastern. Now, this is a special time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday of this week. The extraordinary Dina Martin is going to be with us. And then that day on Tuesday, we have two shows. We have legendary Hollywood film director, screenwriter, and producer Bruce Reisman with us, 60 years in the business. He's got a lot of behind the scenes stories he's going to be sharing, a lot of things he's going to share. You'll be surprised by some of it too. 60 years in Hollywood, film director, television, all of it. He's amazing. He's going to be with us on Tuesday. We can't wait to have him with us on the show as well. We have fantasy, paranormal, supernatural novelist R.A. Rivas joining us as well next week. We're excited about that. We also have the CEO and president, Scott Williams, of the Discovery Park of America, which is just outside Nashville, which is an amazing place. We're going to be talking with him as well. We also have actress, film producer Ashton Clay and musician, music producer Rich Adams coming next week. Broadway expert and actress Kimberly Faye Greenberg joining us next week. And so many other incredible people. You're watching the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Show it some lovity. We would really love it if you subscribe to the channel. Give it a nice thumbs up, subscribe. Now, some people say when they hear subscribe, they think there's a cost to it. My cousin actually said, Jim, when I subscribe, is there a fee? Is there a cost? No. I don't know why they use the word subscribe. It's that red button you see in the upper right-hand corner. You just click it. And that's it. It's just you're connected with us. You're not subscribing. They should just say follow or something. I don't know why they use the word subscribe. So some people think if you click subscribe, it means you are now getting like a magazine subscription or something. You're not actually. It's just you are a part of the Lovity family on our YouTube channel. It also helps our channel big time when you subscribe. And when you click the notification bell, that way there, you never miss any of our episodes, our live episodes, our surprise episodes, our on-location episodes, pop-up shows, and more. So we'd love to subscribe. If you enjoyed this episode, also give it a thumbs up, like on our YouTube channel, and drop a comment on the channel as well. Don't forget to smile, gang. And as we say, don't forget to share the famous JMS Lovity. Marissa mentioned she's a swimmer, and that helps her sort of, exercise and get prepared for when she takes on that violin in the masterful way that she does. I'm a swimmer too. You got to drag me out of the ocean. Swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing, all of it, floating. Just being near the ocean is so zen. And we're here along the ocean in the northeastern United States. So find your zen place and share it with the world. And of course, my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years is also a zen place for me as well. Gang, you are the best. We're going to scoot off. Again, we have a bevy of shows coming up for you. We're going to be going on vacation as well. And we've got some amazing shows that are all in store for you. So enjoy, 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 enjoy. Christine says, thanks for a superb show with musical genius Marissa. Today's conversation had such great energy and positive vibes. Enjoy your dinner and company tonight. Good night, Jim, and all, and spread the lovity. That's right, gang. Tell everybody you know about our show. We would love that. Love that. You're going to take a nice nap and go to bed, fresh mountain air knocking you out. And just really cool that you watched us from your tent the last 2 days, you and Ken in the tent there in the mountains of Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's a real lovity, Jen. That's a real lovity. Couple more here. And Marissa says good night to everybody. She sent me a private message here. I see it. She says good night. She really, really enjoyed herself. And we enjoyed having her here. We'll have her back as well. Thank you so much. Anais in Paris, you're welcome. Good luck with your job interview. We also heard moments ago that legendary actor Ed Asner has passed away at 91. Of course, you know him as Lou Grant from the Mary Tyler Moore Show and so much more. So I can't recall now who's left from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Ed Asner is gone. Mary Tyler Moore's gone. Ted Baxter is gone, who was Ted Knight, the actor. Gavin McLeod, who, of course, was Murray, and he was the captain of the Love Boat. He's gone. John Amos was on there, too. He's still with us. Betty White. Betty White is still with us as well, Betty White. And I think that's about it from the main cast. Valerie Harper, who then went on to Rhoda, is gone. So we just learned moments ago. Again, this is live, this show. So a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, this will be old news, but Ed Asner has passed away. So Godspeed to a brilliant actor, really an amazing person. And he was still performing. He's still out there performing his one-man show. And he was in some other major productions recently as well. And Godspeed to his family. And everybody at the time of this live show that is in North Carolina and not North Carolina, and Louisiana. And although the remnants are going to go towards the Carolinas and it's going to come up here towards the Northeast, Hurricane Ida won't be a hurricane when it comes here, but we're going to get lots of wind and rain on Wednesday and Thursday of next week from the remnants of Hurricane Ida. But right now the hurricane is zoned in on Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and they are getting the brunt of a Category 4 and we'll have to check. I don't know if it went higher than that, but that's 150-mile-an-hour winds in a low-lying area, coastal area there in southern United States. So Godspeed and blessings to everybody there. We do have friends there. We do have some family there as well. Everybody is evacuated, which is the smart thing to do. And so fingers crossed at the time of this live show that everybody is doing okay or will. Yep, Ed Asner, of course, definitely. And you have a great night. Alessandra in North Carolina. Gang, continue to spread the word about the Jim Masters Show Live. Hope you enjoyed us and you enjoyed your time with us in this episode. We had a really cool time hanging out with Marissa Licata, acclaimed and renowned violinist. And again, she's worked with so many people too, and will be working with many, many more. All right, a great week of shows coming up. Really, really special thing we've created here, gang. We love you all. Thanks for joining us for this afternoon. It was nice sharing an afternoon with you guys on a Sunday. Kind, generous, and supportive you, and you. We toast you. We've got some cold brew here. Still good. Sometimes the cup, because it's white, it blows the lights out. The lights are like, oh, well, what are you doing here? Because this is like a white balance. You know, for those of you who know about photography and cameras and all, usually one of the first things you do is you take a white sheet of paper and then the camera person focuses on that white and it does like a white balance. But we didn't white balance this today. So if I do various things like that, it can throw the lighting off, or the camera is thrown off by all the lights. And so it tries to adjust itself, because I'm bringing this back and forth. And it's like, what are you doing? Too close. And, you know, you get the picture. Toast to all of you. So we love you all. Take care, gang. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Again, we do this as a talk show, so we don't just cut the interview and then bang, we're out. We have a conversation with you. It's all about conversation. Really inspiring conversation, saying good music, good music, good music. Love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Again, you can see us on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Jim Masters TV. Connect with us there as well, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for being with us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. We love you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, gang. Thanks for being with us. You're the best. We have the best viewers out there. The best supporters and viewers are the JMS Levities. Have a good day. Bye-bye.